to get started since everybody's here. That'll give me an extra minute or two for my intro here. So our practice today was inspired by, today is the Aquarius new moon, February 1st. And Aquarius is a sign that is very much associated. Hold on, let me get my notes to the right place here. Very much associated with new beginnings, which of course we're at a new moon. So it's also a new beginning. We're at the beginning of a new year. So there's this a lot of freshness to this time that we're entering right now. And Aquarius is a sign that is about innovation and breakthroughs and kind of just like changing things for the greater good. So it honors the individual, but also honors the collective. So it's about leaving the past behind and getting to a newer and a better future. And some of you guys, and maybe around, know about the song, The Age of Aquarius, right? So that's also something that we're in right now. We're said to be in the Age of Aquarius. So it's kind of cool. And the Age of Aquarius is supposed to be all about peace and harmony and love and all these good things, which I'm not feeling right now. I feel like we're not there yet. But according to some of these different readings about the times we're in, it is said that we have to kind of be able to break through. So that's what that Aquarius energy is about, breaking through, letting go of the old, letting the old kind of die off so that we can get to that new cycle where there's this freshness and innovation and good stuff for all of us. So it's about future ideas, about collaboration, making things better for the collective. So I decided that we would work on a pose today called Natarajasana, and that's about this guy. His name is Shiva. And in the yoga tradition, Shiva is about the cycle of life. So this little symbolization that he's in here is supposed to be a ring of fire. He's said to dance in a ring of fire. And he is called Shiva the Destroyer. So Shiva destroys things so that we can have the breakthrough and have the new cycle. So he's about the cycle of life, birth, and death, and rebirth. But he tells us in they all have all these different arms, just like the one I showed you guys last week. He's got a hand here that says no fear. That's the symbol gesture of no fear. So we are to not fear this destruction and death because a newer, better cycle is coming. So it's kind of cool. I love like diving into the yoga mythology and philosophies and all that and what it represents. He's also standing on a little guy here. Maybe you can see. He's an imp that he's standing on. And again, just like in all the other stories, the little imp guy represents the ego. So it's about subduing the ego in order for us to progress as human beings. So that's Shiva. And we're going to do his pose today. So his pose is building on a lot of the stuff we worked on in the last couple of weeks. We're doing a very beginner-friendly version of it. You might want to be at a wall space because it's a balancing posture. And it's also a good stretch for the quad, which we've been working on the last couple of weeks. So we'll keep working on that today. So you can go ahead and, well, let's just say we are going to need a couple things. We're going to need the blanket down initially for our somatic work to warm up. We are also going to need a yoga bolster or 2 pillows. So if you don't have a yoga bolster at home, Laura, you can grab 2 pillows. I think you have one, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great. So at the end, we're going to do some restoratives. Some kind of restorative forward folds to release. And we're going to also end with a nice guided relaxation practice. So anything you need to be comfortable. Some of you might also want to have a strap. So grab a strap if you don't have one, just so we have that available to us. So bolster, strap, and then, your usual pillows and things like that you want to have to be comfortable, like an extra folded blanket for your head. And then go ahead, come on your backs. We'll get started. I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody. By the way, if anyone ever wants music for class, I always have a playlist, and I supply that playlist for the Sunday group. But if anyone wants it for this class, you can just email me and I will make sure you have it. Okay, if you like music. I'm going to plug in my mic. Can you guys still hear me? Yes? All right, thank you. Okay. So taking a few moments to have our initial kind of settling, dropping in, and a sense of kind of emptying out here. So in order for there to be a new beginning, we have to be willing to let go of the old. So we can even consider this practice as the start of something new in your day. So can we try to let go of everything that came before? Or perhaps thoughts of anything that needs to come later? And have this quality of emptying out with your breath. Have a sense of emptying out through your fingertips, through the centers of your palms. A sense of emptying out through your feet and your toes. A sense of emptying out through your skull and your cranium and your brain and your tailbone. So all these little points of periphery, can we feel like we're emptying out? And finding our nice soft, soft breath. Let's take about 3 more cycles here. And then on your next inhalation, let's take a full body stretch. Interlace your palms and press your palms toward the wall behind you. Press out through your feet, through your heels, and find a full body stretch. And then as you exhale, we're going to bend the knees and walk the feet apart as wide as the mat and let the knees drop together for a moment. This is called Constructive Rest. And we're going to take our 2 arms and we're going to, like we did last week when we did our lion's pose, we're going to cross our wrists and we're going to tuck our hands behind the back of our head. And your head and neck just kind of rest on your palms and your elbows are extended. And we'll feel that this is a lengthening of the side body here, but also a broadening of your sacrum, a relaxing of your lower back. And just take a couple breaths here, just feeling that length as your elbows are reaching a little bit toward the wall behind you. So make it a little active with that upper body. And now, almost like we did when we do our up slip, down slip, take your right elbow and reach it a little longer. And then your left elbow, reach it a little longer and just go side to side a few times. Just pushing out through that elbow to lengthen the side body. And starting out nice and easy here. Okay. Come back to stillness. Keep your right hand tucked behind your back of your head. Release your left hand out to the side. And really kind of tuck that right hand in a little bit more. Separate your knees. And we're going to windshield wiper the legs side to side, keeping that arm where it is on the right. So a couple windshield wipers. And then let your knees drop to the left and keep them there. And reach fit through your right elbow. So now we're getting a little more length on that side body. You can stay right here. Some of you might be able to do a little more here. Take your left foot on top of your right thigh. And that gives us a bit more stretch there through the psoas and the front of the thigh and the hip flexor. And if that feels like too much to put that foot on top, then please skip it if there's any pain in your knee or your lower back. And let's hold there for 2 more breaths. Keeping that breath low in the belly. Maybe as you breathe in, you could feel a little more stretch there on the front of the body. Okay, let's release that top foot down if you have it crossed. Bring the knees up and release your right arm and just pause. Take a breath. And we'll do that on the other side. So we're going to take the left arm, reach it long, and tuck it, lift your head, tuck it behind the back of your head and your upper back as best you can. And then feet wide apart. Go ahead and windshield wiper a few times. And then the next time those knees drop to the right, let them stay to the right. You can stay right there. You could also stick a block under your knee if there's any strain there in the knee. Reach through that left elbow a bit more, an option to put your right foot on top of your left outer thigh. And if that's too much, just skip it. Hold there for a few cycles of breath. One more here. Good, and then we'll slowly release, top foot down, bring the knees back up, release your arm, take a pause, and let your arms be at your side. Have a breath. Couple rounds flowing bridges. So next inhale, arms are gonna lift, hips are gonna lift. Reach your arms overhead as you press your tailbone up, up, up. Use the backs of the legs there. And then exhale, arms down, hips down, all the way back to the start. Do a couple more like that. So this pose, just like some of the poses we did in the last 2 weeks, requires that we're open in the front of the hips. Like we did that one arm tiger last week. So this is the standing version of that kind of posture. Let's do 2 more flowing bridges. Moving with your breath. And as you get to the top, really press your tailbone up and lengthen it so that we're opening the front of our hips. Last time. All right, just take a pause, have a breath here. And then we're going to roll to our side and go ahead and press yourself up slowly into a seated posture. So feel free to sit up onto your folded blanket or pillow and we'll find a tall spine. Pull those sit bones apart so you feel like you're more on your base. And then let's inhale the right arm up and overhead and take a bit of a side bend here. So slide the hand out, the opposite hand, reach, 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 and lengthen. And then we'll do the other side. Coming up, inhale the arm up and slide out. And you're gonna just go as far as it feels good for you. Let's go a few more rounds side to side. Good, now the next time you take your right arm up, we're gonna put it behind the back of the head, just like we did before on our backs, and slide it out. Now we're gonna stay on this side. So come back up and slide it out. As you slide it out, reach the right elbow away from your torso. Good, one more like that. And now we're gonna stay in the side bend wherever it feels right for you. Pause and reach through that elbow. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, turn that elbow toward the floor, and we'll get a little more stretch through the back body. And then inhale, turn it open, maybe a little bit toward the back, and exhale, turn it forward. Get that stretch and reach through your elbow. One more like this. Inhale, open up. Exhale. It's like a twist and a side bend at the same time. Inhale up through center, release your arm up and come back up to vertical. And we'll do that on the other side. Inhale, reach that arm up, tuck it behind your head, slide it out of it. And then pause at that natural stopping point. We'll hold for a few breaths. We're gonna lengthen through that elbow, inhale. And we're gonna open up on the inhale, exhale, round it forward. And do that a few more times. Inhale, turn it open. Exhale, twist and fold. Two more here. Okay, lots of mobility here through the spine, lengthening side body, also working a bit through shoulder range of motion. After this one, we're going to carefully come up. Always take your time. So we don't take our time. That's often when we pull something. So come back really slow and pause in the center. Good. Let's take the legs out for a moment. Just windshield wipers. We've been sitting there for a little bit. And then we're going to come back to cross legs. And let's put right leg in the front if you haven't. Widen out your sit bones. Inhale, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, you're going to twist and bring your right hand to your left knee. Keep the left arm reaching up. And now you're going to take left hand behind the back of your skull and lift the back of your skull up. Good. Now as you inhale, open up like we just did before. And this time as you exhale, bring left elbow towards your right knee, any amount. Inhale, open up, twist, maybe look to the back. Exhale, come across and fold towards your knee. This is called teapots. You can think of your body as like a teapot pouring out the water as you come into that twist and fold. It's a little deeper than the last one we did. Two more. Last one. I'm coming as far as it feels right for you. Now hold it for an extra breath. Tuck your chin, lengthen the back of your neck. And then slowly coming up, release both arms down, have a pause. Very good. Okay, let's switch the legs and we'll go the other direction. Widen out your sit bones. Inhale, reach the arms up. And as you exhale, we're going to bring the hand across to the left knee. And, oh, no, wait, I did that wrong. To the right knee. And then left hand behind the back of the head. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, we're going toward that left knee. Like your teapot. Inhale, come up, maybe a little bit to the back. Exhale, fold toward that left knee. Pull at the elbow. So we're getting lots of mobility in that shoulder. Two more. Last one. This time, hold it. Tuck your chin in, lengthen through the side of your elbow there, through the side body. And then very carefully, slowly coming up to the center. Give your shoulders a little roll from here. Good, and then roll the shoulders the other way. Okay, let's go ahead and find our way into our tabletop position for our cat-cows. So stacking up, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. I still have a blanket down, so that's fine for now. Take an inhale, exhale, rounding your spine. Inhale, arch, gazing up, exhale, round. So let's do a few more cycles. Know that you always have options. So if it's hard to be on hands and knees, you can do cat-cow in a seated position as well. So always listen to your body. Let's do 3 more cycles. Stay really mindful here, noticing your breath. After your 3rd cycle, go ahead and move back to your child's pose. All right, so go ahead and come up from child's pose and grab your 2 blocks and an extra blanket if you have one available. If not, you might need to take the one out from under you. We're going to make a little shelf with our blocks. So you're going to stack them short side to short side and put that right in front of you. And then take a blanket and fold it in half and put that on top of the blocks. We're going to do a little more shoulder opening here. Okay, so it's going to be child's pose, but we're going to put our arms and stack our arms up right on top of the blocks and put your forehead down on the blocks. If that is very mild, you can try putting your head inside the blocks and bringing your head toward the ground. Okay, so either your head is resting up on your arms, a little more gentle. If you want a deeper shoulder stretch and it feels okay without any pinching, you can bring your head on the inside, let your head go toward the ground, and it'll be a deeper stretch for your shoulders. Let's hold there for 3 more breaths. Always listen if you need to come out sooner, that's an option. All right. And then from here, we're going to come up onto our knees and keep your arms up on those blocks. Bring your palms together, your elbows are on top of the block setup. Walk your elbows forward and see if you can bring your forehead to the blocks. And bring your palms behind the back of your head. So this is a version of something called puppy pose. So it's like a hybrid between child's pose and down dog. But we're getting that shoulder opening here, which is one of our focuses for today. If it's too much for you, go back to the last version we did. Let's hold it for 2 more breaths. After your 2nd breath, go ahead and slowly come up. Take your time and set your blocks to the front of your mat. From here, bring your feet around in front of you, bring your hands behind you. Press down into your hands, especially your finger pads. Remember your tiger paws. Lift your chest up, pull your palms apart and open across your heart space. And then slowly release back to the starting point. You can repeat that, or next stage is to lift your hips into a reverse tabletop position. And again, we're opening shoulders, we're opening hip flexors, and release down. We're gonna do 2 more cycles, either hips down and just open your chest, or lift the hips up if this is not too much on your wrists. Make sure you have those tiger paws, finger pads press into the ground. And when you're ready, one last time, as you come up, make sure you're using the backs of your legs, press through your feet, get that tailbone to lift, and release. Coming all the way back down, very good. And then we'll swing those legs around. Let's go ahead, take the blanket off if you have one, and we'll get ready for our standing sequence. All right, so let's find a downward facing dog. Walk your hands a little forward of your shoulders. Spread your fingers, press into those finger pads. Lift the hips up, come into down dog. Pedal it out for a moment. And then walk your hands right back to your feet. You won't stay there too long. Legs are a little wider than your hips. Nice bend in your knees and fold forward. Press through your feet. Inhale. Let's come all the way up to a standing position. Good. All right. Find your mountain pose. Let's inhale, half sun sounds, reach up. Exhale, fold forward, little bend in those knees. Keep it easy on your lower back. Inhale, a halfway lift, hands on thighs. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, circle up, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. 2 more rounds. Inhale, reach. Nice and slow and meditative. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale and fold. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, hands to your heart. One more time. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We're going to stay down. Bend your knees a lot. Almost like you're in chair pose. Let your head go and see if you can wrap your arms around your legs and clasp your forearms. Press down through your feet and lift the sit bones, or take your sit bones back and your head a little more forward. 2 more breaths. After that second breath, slowly release and come all the way up. Good, and then reach your hands up and draw to the heart. So that little one we just did is sometimes said to be symbolic of new moon. It's the dark moon, it's going inward, closing in on ourselves. Let's widen the feet apart. Inhale, reach the right arm up. We're going to tuck the hand behind the back of the head like we've been doing. Hold on to that elbow with your other hand. Keep a little softness in your knees. Lift your low belly, lengthen your tail. And then inhale, reach both elbows up. Exhale into a side bend. Good, 2 more like that. Inhale up. Exhale, side bend. 1 more time. Good, inhale up, release your arms, and circle all the way down. Other side, inhale, left arm up by the ear, tuck it behind your head, hold that elbow. Inhale, reach the elbows up, and then exhale, side bend. Try not to lock the knees, and try not to get a big pelvic tilt here. Keep neutral pelvis, 2 more. Make sure you're reaching through that elbow. Good, 1 more time. Good, and then release, circle the arms down. We're gonna step the feet back in. I'm gonna come to the top of the mat. Make sure you have your blocks there. You'll work on some lunge work. Grab your padding for your knees if you know you need that. Okay, inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold forward, hands to blocks. And we're gonna step that right foot to the back of the mat. Move your blocks back by your front foot. And drop down onto that back knee, patting it if you wish. Back toes can be tucked or untucked, and we'll bring our hands up onto our thigh. And we're gonna do our little pelvic tilt here. We're opening up that back hip flexor because with this pose, we grab the foot. So we want that hip flexor open, lift the front of the pelvis, pull the tailbone down. Now, same thing we've been doing. Reach your right arm up. Place your hand behind your back. Hold your elbow with that opposite hand. Inhale, reach that elbow up, up, up. And as you exhale, slide a little deeper into your front knee as you reach that elbow up. Good, now slowly back out, stay there. Inhale, reach the elbow up. This time, side bend towards your left. And think about your right thigh bone rooting down as your elbow reaches up. Good, inhale up. Exhale, hands down to your blocks. Lift that back knee and step forward. You can move your blocks forward and fold over your legs. Inhale, arms reach all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Other side, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold forward. Hands to blocks. As you inhale, left foot steps back, move your blocks back, and we drop down onto that back knee. Toes tucked or untucked, your choice. Bring your hands onto your thigh, take your time. And then find that little tailbone hook. Tailbone hooks forward, lobe, abdomen lifts up till you feel that stretch in your back hip. And then left arm reaches up. Tuck your hand behind the back of your head. And then see if you can hold onto the elbow. Inhale, reach up tall. Exhale, bend deeper into your front knee. Inhale, back to start. Exhale here. Next inhale, lift that elbow again. This time we side bend toward the right. You've got to really stay planted in your front foot, hug your inner thighs, and then hook that tailbone as you reach through the top elbow. Bottom thigh, the back leg, root it down. Good, inhale, back up, release your arms, hands to blocks. Lift that back knee, blocks forward, step forward. And let's fold forward over our legs. Inhale, we're gonna rise all the way up. Use your legs as you circle the arms up, and then draw your hands to your heart. Good. Okay, a little belly down work. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale to your halfway lift. And we're gonna step back to the top of a push-up and bring the knees right down to the ground and lower all the way to your belly. Okay, so stack up your palms for a moment and put your head down. Try to stretch your legs back behind you. And this will help your lower back as we do a little bit of back bending work here. Okay, next inhale, push down into your arms lift your head, but don't stick your chin too far forward. That just kinks your neck. What I want you to do is use your back muscles to help you lift. So let's notice there's like a stripe right down the center of your spine that's contracting inward to help you lift. And then lower your head back down. 2 more like that. Inhale, lift up. Arms press down. Use those back muscles. Maybe press your tailbone down and release. 1 more time. Okay, now we're going to add a leg lift at the same time. So inhale, as you lift your head, lift your right leg off the ground. Gauge the back of the glute and release. Left leg, inhale, lift up. Try not to turn the leg stays neutral, and release. Next round, we're going to bend the knee. So inhale, lift your leg, bend your knee, and try to lift your thigh. We're using that glute like we did a few weeks ago. Release the foot, release the head. Other side, inhale, lift up, lift the leg, and then bend the leg. Try to lift your thigh, and then thigh down, head down. 1 more time each side. Lift up, bend that knee, use the glute to try and lift the thigh off the ground, and then release. 1 more time. Good, and then rest down, take a couple of breaths, give your hips a little wiggle side to side. And then we're gonna slide our hands back, press into tabletop position. And you might wanna do a little hip circling, a little swaying of your hips, just to let that lower back release after those leg lifts. And then downward facing dog. Bend your knees a lot, walk your hands back to your feet. Fold over your legs. Now keeping those knees nice and bent, bring your hands behind your back. See if you can interlace your hands. If you can't, you could use a belt here. Hold on to a belt. Lift your shoulders away from the ground and let your head release. Push in your feet. And try to lift your sit bones higher without straightening your legs. The legs can be just a little bit bent. And now we're going to rise up. Bend those knees again. Push into the feet. Keep the clasp and come all the way up. And open the collarbones. Let those shoulders squeeze back for another breath. Good, and then release, shake it out a little bit. Okay, we're gonna come to stand in the wide leg position, and you can face whatever direction. We're gonna start on the right side, coming into warrior 2. Turn your whole right leg out, turn your left toes in and heel out a bit. Excuse me, bend your knee. Come into warrior 2. Good, so we're gonna add those shoulder arms that we've been working on in a little flow here. So, left hand, we're gonna swing it behind the back. Right arm is gonna come up behind your back, and then we're gonna side bend toward the back leg. Good, now we're gonna switch the arms. Switch the arms and side bend toward your front leg. Your pelvis tips toward the back foot. You don't have to go far. And let's go back and forth. Think of this as kind of like the Shiva dance here. Do that a few rounds. One more time. And then back to your warrior two. Straighten that leg, parallel your feet, bring your hands to your hips. Take a breath here. And let's do that on the other side. Turn your left leg out. Right heel widens, toes in. Bend your left knee, warrior two. Good, back hand wraps around your back, top arm behind the back of your head, side bend toward the back, like reverse warrior, and then reverse. Reverse your arms and come toward the front, and shift your tailbone toward your back foot. Do that a few more rounds. How far you come into that front side bend is negotiable. You can go a little bit. If you feel a little strong, you want to go farther, go farther. But listen to your body. Just do a few more rounds. This nice swaying arm, like Shiva and all his arms and all his weapons. He does this like furious dance, shaking up the universe so that he can destroy what is no longer working and make room for the new. Back to your warrior two. Straighten that front leg, parallel your feet, bring your hands to your hips. Really ground through your feet. Make sure your feet are parallel, not turned out. Interlace your hands behind your back again. And open your collarbones, open your shoulders. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, bend your knees a good amount. And then inhale here, as you exhale, hinge forward. You can go about halfway. Those of you who want to can fold all the way down. Remember, you can also use a strap here. Once you're down, lift your shoulders, lift your sit bones, let your head descend. Last breath. And then we're going to bend those knees again, push into the feet, lead with the back of your head, and slowly come all the way up. Release the arms, shake them out, and step it back in. Maybe circle the ankles a bit around, one at a time. Good. Okay. So we're going to work on version 1 of this Shiva pose, the Natarajasana. So some of you might want to go to a wall and hold on to the wall. Because we're going to be balancing, we're going to be using the quad stretch and the shoulder opener here. So the leg that's toward the center of the room, that's the leg that's going to be lifted. The leg that's closer to the wall is going to be your standing leg. So first, let's stand up tall, root especially into the standing leg close to the wall, and come onto the ball of the other foot. Let's go ahead and lift that knee up initially in the front. And get the standing leg to root back so you feel like you're really rooting into your heel. Then we're going to bring that thigh behind you and see if you can catch your foot with your hand. Stage 1, you're holding the toes. Stage 2, you're going to turn your palm open and hold the big toe side of your foot. That gets that shoulder back a little bit more. Lift your chest. And if you want to go a little farther, you're going to start to lean forward and lift that leg behind you. So that's a little more challenging, only if that feels steady for you today. And this is Natarajasana, stage 1 of the Shiva pose. And then slowly coming back to the start and release it down. But take a pause. Feel yourself on solid ground. Good. Okay, let's do the other side. Turn yourself around. Hold on to the wall. Standing leg, make it nice and strong. Root the thigh back, get the weight in the heel. Come onto the ball of the other foot. You can bring that knee forward at first. Really get grounded through your heel. And then start to take the foot behind you. Stage 1, catch the toes. Stage 2, rotate your palm open and grab the big toe side of your foot. You can stay right here or start to lift that back thigh, and you're just leaning forward a little bit. It's more about lifting the back thigh than lowering the chest. Keep the chest as lifted as you can. Good. Slowly release. Bring that foot down. Stand on solid ground once again. Take a couple breaths. So Shiva's dance is also a reminder to us that no matter what chaos is going around us, we can still find our footing. We can still find our balance, even when the world is kind of being destructive around us. Okay, we're going to grab our strap next. And we're going to try another version of this pose that might be a little challenging, so you can decide if you want to go back to the first version. You're going to have a loop in your strap and make the loop pretty small. You're just going to put it around your foot. And we're going to try and get the arm overhead, like we did all that prep with the shoulder and the elbow. So take the strap around the foot that's toward the center of the room. And you're going to hold on to the wall again. Root into your standing leg. And then you're going to come onto the ball of that foot. Lift the knee up. And then you're going to start to take it behind you. But now see if you can rotate your arm and it's going to go up and overhead. Now, if that's like really easy, try to grab lower on the strap, and then you'll be getting a bigger opening in your quad, a bigger opening in your shoulder. And then once you're there, try to take a few breaths, reach that top elbow up. I'm going to give you guys a couple moments to work on that because I know some of you are still trying to get your loop. So take your time. Yeah, take your time. Those of you who have got it, you can switch sides when you're ready. Very good. You guys are doing great. So in the Sunday class, we'll be holding the strap with both hands, trying to balance in the middle of the room. So it's a big shoulder opener, big hip opener. Switch out when you're ready. And I want you to be really careful on the exit of this pose, which I didn't get to tell you because I was watching you guys, but on the exit, you want to be really careful that you're not twisting your shoulder and come out mindfully there. Sometimes it's easier to let go of the strap before you try to come out of it. Good. So since Marge is kind of just catching up there, I want you guys to do it one more time on each side, okay? Because sometimes the second time you're more open and you can get it a little better. So finish out that second side, and then we're gonna do it again. One more time on each side. And you can either do version 1 or version 2, your choice. So you get that arm up behind you, and you want to maybe walk your hand down the strap a bit, hold on to the wall, and you're opening up the front of that hip, lifting through the elbow. And when you come out, maybe let go of the strap a bit first, and then let the arm come down so that you're not, compromising your shoulder there. Okay, so I'm going to check in on you guys again, see how it's going. You guys look great. Yeah, try not to lean into your standing hip. So some of you are leaning over to the side. Keep that standing hip firming in. That's it. Yep. And don't splay the knee out to the side. Keep the kneecap more toward the ground. Very nice. Switch sides one more time on the other side when you're ready. Very nice. Good, Laura. You got the whole thing there. Just find that sense of calm in the chaos. the dance of destruction around you, and you are calm and stable. See if you get the knee to move back and the thigh bone to lift up behind you. You might be able to walk your hand down your strap, getting a little bit of a closer grip. The elbow reaches up, lengthening that side body like we did in the very beginning. Good. And when you're ready to slowly let go, loosen the strap a bit before you try to unravel your shoulder. Nice work. Okay, let's just stand in mountain pose for a moment and just feel the stability now of the ground beneath your feet after the dance of destruction of Shiva's pose. And we're going to transition now to a restorative forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. You're going to step back to dog, bring your knees down, and we'll come into a seated posture. You can go ahead, sit onto your folded blanket. I grab my bolster. And let's take the legs out into a wide straddle position. If this is not comfortable for you, put something under each knee so you have a little bend here. So you could have a little cushion or a rolled blanket. And then bolster in front of you. Widen your sit bones apart. And make sure you're not pitching back on the sit bones, you're more on the top of them. And then the idea here is to support your head. So a couple of options. I'm going to go sideways and get a better view. You could put your bolster up on an angle and put your forehead on it. Next option is to put your bolster down and put some blocks under your forehead. So it's kind of in between. Those of you who are more on the flexi side, you could fold and bring yourself down to the bolster. Sometimes I like to hug the bolster. Or you could put your blocks under the bolster to elevate the bolster. And that's another midway version. So the easiest and kind of least stress on the hamstrings is putting that bolster up high. You can progress as you wish. And we're going to stay here for a few moments. We're going to end maybe 5 minutes late, guys. I'm sorry about that, but didn't realize we were running out of time. So let this be a posture of surrender. So sometimes we have to surrender to this momentum. Just like we talked about with the year of the tiger, this water rushing in, cleansing. It's kind of this same energy with this Aquarius new moon, this time of innovation and progress and moving forward. Sometimes we resist change. And so let this be a pose of non-resistance. Can you soften every muscle in your body and come into a place of complete surrender? Find a very soft breath that will encourage the tissues to relax. The more you relax your breath and your mind, the more the connective tissue will respond to that. So Shiva is associated with time itself as a destroyer of all things, as well as with the creation of all things. Destruction and creation are inextricably linked. One cannot exist without the other. He dances in that ring of flames atop of the back of the tiny demon who symbolizes ignorance, laziness, or even evil thought. His dance symbolizes the rhythm of the universe, those cycles of creation and destruction. Last 3 breath cycles here. After your 3rd breath, I want you to do a super slow motion coming out. Slowly coming up, bring your head up last. And when you get to the top, just have a pause in the vertical. Let's take another breath cycle once you're there in the vertical position. All right, so we're gonna come on our backs and we're gonna be setting up for restorative Shavasana. So I want you to have your 2 blankets. Let's put one under your head. And then the second one is gonna go under your sacrum. So you're gonna put that blanket down and you're actually gonna sit on it. And then your bolster is gonna go underneath your legs, okay? So you have a little padding underneath your sacrum. Now, if you're cold, you can always grab another blanket to cover with. So blanket under the sacrum, bolster under the legs. Scoot your sit bones forward so your tailbone is really out from under you. And then come down, putting that pillow under your head. And then before Shavasana, let's bring the knees into the chest for a hug. You could circle it out a bit. In both directions. And that padding will help the sacrum feel a little more soft because we did all that back bending with those Shiva poses. So this will help your lower back relax as you do this final guided relaxation. Go ahead, bring it up into happy baby if you like. Feet come up. You can either hold behind your knees or ankles or feet, depending on what allows you to keep that sacrum down. So if the sacrum's curling up off the ground, I want you to choose behind the knees. Keep it a little more loose. And you could either stay still or find a little rocking or a little circling here. Again, just releasing your lower back after those back bending postures. Most of us are tight in the front of the hips there. It makes that pose pretty challenging, as well as the tightness in our shoulders. Okay, when you're ready, let's find Shavasana. And let those legs drape over the bolster. Cover up if you need to cover up. And let the sacrum really kind of sink into those blankets underneath you, letting it relax. So I give you a moment to settle. And then we're going to do a guided mini yoga nidra. So nidra is a deep relaxation. It's called divine sleep. And we're not doing a full practice of it. We don't have enough time. It takes normally at least like 20 minutes or so. These are the kinds of things we do more in our pajama yoga practices. But we're going to do a mini session. So go ahead and let everything empty out again, like we did in the beginning. Feel this emptying through your wrists, your palms, your fingers, and emptying through your ankles and your feet, through your head, your skull, and your tailbone. And just let everything surrender into the ground. Surrender into the present moment, into what is, and into the momentum toward the future. Let yourself be carried as if you were drifting on a river of water. Continue a soft breath in your belly as you feel the cranial bones relax, sensing the breath in your whole body. And in a lot of traditions of Yoga Nidra, we follow different points in the body. We're doing a very minimal version of that today. So I want you to just bring your awareness to the point that I call out. And we're going to imagine a point of light at those little points in the body. So first, we're bringing our awareness to the tailbone, the pelvic floor, the perineum. This is the root chakra. Imagine a point of light at your base. We're going from base to crown of head. See that point of light there? Maybe there's a color or sparkle. And then we're going to move up to the point between the pelvic floor and the navel. So midway is second chakra. Imagine the point of light there. It's kind of like right in front of your sacrum in front thigh. And now move right up to your navel center and imagine the point of light right at your navel center, third chakra. Now moving up to your heart center. Right in the center of your chest, not the anatomical heart, but the heart center. Point of light. Visualize that light in the heart space. And now up to your throat center. Maybe around Adam's apple area, middle of the throat. Imagine that point of light in the throat center. And now to the third eye, center of the forehead, brow center. Picture that point of light. And then all the way up to the crown of the head, center of the crown of the head. Last point there. Now in your mind's eye, picture the intersection between the two last points. Center of the brow, crown of the head, there's an intersection deep in the midbrain. So now bring your awareness there to the midbrain and take a few more breaths. And then letting go of all of those visualizations, just let everything release. Staying for a little while longer. So a couple more little readings about Shiva. Our work or play in life is to let the wildness go, even as we root ourselves in stability. We remain in the eye of the storm, allowing everything else around us to move as it must. Wildness without steadiness is chaotic, and yet steadiness without a little wildness is boring. We maintain a balance of both. Shiva, as a transformer or destroyer, is symbolized by the flame of dissolution held in his hand. Fire has the power to change your state from gross to subtle. It burns away what's no longer needed and dissolves any obstacle to being your highest self, delivering you to the next level of freedom in your life. And that purifying flame also signals the end of a cycle. Since endings always give way to another beginning, there really is no ending, just a change, just a transformation. So go ahead and take a few moments now to deepen your breath. Inviting small movements back into your body. Gradually moving a little bit more, stretching it out. Before coming over onto your side, brief pause, and then we'll come up to sit. So take your time. Once you come up to sit, find the comfortable position, a prop if you like. We're going to put thumb and index finger together and make a little circle. So take your time. I know you guys are still coming up. Once you arrive seated, make sure you're elevated enough that you're comfortable in your hips and knees. And then thumb and index finger touch, and let that release down. Let the sit bones drop, lengthen through the crown of your head, find your soft breath in your belly. As you're here, imagining those points of light along your spine. And then imagine all the others practicing today, all of their lights along their spine, knowing that all of these points of light are connected. And that spirit of Aquarius, honoring the individual, but also honoring the collective. Moving forward as a group, as humanity. Knowing what is possible as we all set our intentions on that innovation, that improving of what is for the benefit of all beings. May we carry this feeling of peace and harmony out into the rest of our day, out into our communities, to our families. Let's bring hands together in front of the heart space. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, bowing your head to your heart. Thank you so much, everyone. Namaste.